What you're about to hear isn't just another routine space update, it's something far beyond the reach of any Earth-based telescope. An occurrence so startling that NASA scientists are now questioning everything they thought they knew about interstellar contact. Almost 5 decades since its deployment, the historic spacecraft Voyager 1 has allegedly been party to an unprecedented encounter, a possible attempt at interception of an object not only alien to our solar system but potentially extraterrestrial in a still deeper sense. This enigmatic being, 3I Atlas, was recently established as the third interstellar visitor to our solar system. What occurred when Voyager 1 made its try at aligning with it is now causing waves of shock at mission control, classified memos, and even in the halls of history. Something shifted when their paths almost crossed, and the world was left to ask, did Voyager 1 actually make contact with something other than the world, or did something else, something not anticipated, answer first? Voyager 1 launched in 1977 on a mission to explore the outer planets. Having completed that mission, it pressed on into the solitary journey, exiting the solar system and into the great unknown. More recently, several independent sources have stated that NASA secretly reactivated portions of Voyager's directional equipment as part of an attempt to make a passive alignment with 3I Atlas. The timing of this move raised suspicions. Atlas was discovered in July 2025, hurtling through space at over 150,000 miles per hour, an interstellar object unlike any we've encountered since Oumuamua and Borisov. Yet Atlas is larger, faster, and far stranger. Voyager 1's trajectory, long thought irreversible, has seemingly been subtly nudged with long-distance communication pulses, not to actually shift the probe but to realign its instruments towards a new area of space exactly where Atlas would be. If this is true, Voyager 1 is now the first man-made interstellar observer to try to make contact with an object from another star system. Within days of Atlas reaching the zone close enough for Voyager's instruments to sense possible action, Earth's magnetosphere registered a peculiar spike. It wasn't a solar flare. Sensors detected ripples in the electromagnetic field in line with directed energy bursts, and they weren't originating from Earth. The frequency and orientation of the signals seemed to be from deep space, like a transmission had been bounced back. NASA is reluctant to confirm any connection between the incidents, but insiders at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory report that Voyager picked up strange patterns of noise that were not familiar or even expected as cosmic radiation or stellar interference. This has been frightening scientists, as the power of the signal indicates that Atlas is not a passive rock but an entity capable of generating its own electromagnetic signature, something that responds, something that listens. Back in the early 1980s, Voyager was equipped with a high-gain antenna and data transmitters that were intended to send back images and information from Jupiter, Saturn, and onward. Those systems were never intended to last until the 2020s, and yet they have. NASA engineers have quietly conceded to undertaking minor upgrades and recalibrations via deep space signal pulses. But here's where the story takes a chilling turn. During the Atlas alignment, Voyager might have been sent a patterned return signal. Leaked information from mission logs indicates that the signal contained symmetric, periodic bursts too regular to be meaningless. It was as if delivering a message into the void and receiving a rhythm back, a rhythm unlike any known cosmic natural phenomenon. Was it data? A language? Or merely a cosmic coincidence too complicated to be dismissed? Whatever it was, it's kept scientists agitated. Even more disturbing is the connection between this incident and ancient cultures. Civilizations like those that constructed Machu Picchu and Göbekli Tepe constructed their monuments on solstice angles that, remarkably, coincide with the trajectory of Atlas's entry. The likelihood of this happening by chance is virtually nil. Ancient texts speak of wanderers from the sky, things which move differently than stars or planets, appearing out of nowhere, then disappearing without cause. Was it possible that humanity had seen such interstellar travelers before and etched their paths into stone as warnings or messages? If so, Voyager 1 perhaps has followed the same extraterrestrial path charted out more than 11,000 years ago without even knowing it. The terrifying thought for modern scientists is that we're only now rediscovering what ancient humanity may have already known. 10 days after Voyager's near encounter with 3I Atlas, an anonymous data set surfaced on a secure astrophysics server used by SETI researchers. Signed with the codename Echorefraction 67, the files contained raw waveforms allegedly captured by Voyager's magnetometer and plasma sensors. At first glance, it looked like random noise. But after multiple standalone analyses via Fourier transformations and pattern recognition software, a stunning pattern emerged, a recursive harmonic series recurring every 19.7 minutes. The signal was not random. It learned, self-adjusting for increased clarity over time, as if correcting for Voyager's outdated machinery. This kind of behavior contradicts any known natural process. Either the signal was being reflected, or something intelligent was trying to be communicated. NASA's internal AI anomaly detection system SERENA marked the transmission as non-human logic flow, reserved solely for possible extraterrestrial communication. Voyager, despite having no propulsion, still has gyroscopes and antenna systems enabling slight orientation movements. On August 1, 2025, amateur astronomers detected a sudden change in Voyager's telemetry. It had oriented itself by a few degrees in an unplanned direction. Though slight, in interstellar terms that movement was enormous. Even stranger, the change had not matched Atlas's location, but its projected trajectory weeks in advance, as if Voyager had anticipated where it would go. Officially, JPL accounted this as a faulty reading. However, leaked memos uncovered something much more sinister. Voyager moved before any instruction was given. The options are catastrophic: either the spaceship had malfunctioned in an impossibly exact manner, or something else had taken over. Meanwhile, Earth-based observatories also observed Atlas acting strangely. Rather than acting like a tumbling comet, it started to pulse in binary-like patterns similar to Voyager's last transmission periods. Next, it slowed down, its speed dropping without any known reason, as if under intentional control. NASA wrote it off as an optical illusion produced by parallax, but independent observatories substantiated the deceleration. For the first time, an interstellar object had altered speed and course, and it occurred just after Voyager's reorient. Coincidence, or response? Voyager 1 is home to the iconic Golden Record, a time capsule of Earth music, pictures, and sounds to introduce humanity to the universe. Few know, however, that the digital master plan for the record originally held unseen metadata, coordinates, math problems, and encoded quantum patterns. Now, it is reported that a team in Europe said they discovered something embedded in the sounds of Earth recording, a repeated tone that people cannot hear but creates an identical sequence of prime numbers as the pulses Voyager just picked up from Atlas. Did people inadvertently put a trigger signal into that recording? If so, it is possible Atlas heard it. That would be the exchange was not random but a deliberate handshake penned in the language of mathematics. Not long after the spike in interaction, NASA engineers picked up on something unprecedented. Voyager telemetry indicated a packet of information that did not correspond to its programming. Decoded, the system reprogrammed its own software protocols, adapting to 128-bit output capability from 8-bit. It was as if the transmission contained an instruction set to evolve the probe. One of the analysts described it simply: Voyager got smarter, without anyone touching it. Leaked 2018 NASA slides refer to a hypothetical Watcher protocol, a backup plan outlining what to do if an old spacecraft displayed intelligent adaptive behavior following contact from the outside. The top-secret instruction cautioned that any such vessel would be treated as an active node in an extraterrestrial communication system. After the Atlas encounter, Voyager was allegedly classified as Watcher active, and manual control of it limited by a new directive titled the Contact Chain. Meanwhile, about the same time, the SETI Allen Telescope Array went dark, its real-time feed and archives briefly taken down under the cover of a maintenance outage. Researchers quietly informed of being sent to investigate a single frequency band, the same one in which the signal on Voyager had spiked. Shortly thereafter, national security notices were disseminated to dissuade public debate of new discoveries. One insider likened it to an EMP drill, but stated the target was not Earth. It was as if the authorities were concerned that someone, or something, was already eavesdropping. In Kyoto, a team at a university released a paper that proposed a revised version of the monolith hypothesis, that long-lost spacefaring civilizations seeded the galaxy with beacons lying in wait for other intelligent life to turn them on. They suggested that Atlas could be one of those seeds, a technological device created to turn on when exposed to a certain stimulus, maybe one contained in Voyager's recording. If that's the case, then Voyager didn't discover Atlas, it turned it on. 1 week later, deep space sensors picked up pulses of radiation along Atlas's trajectory. The pulses conformed to the golden ratio, 1.618 seconds, and the same energy signature as the 1977 WOW signal. NASA rapidly revised satellite shielding standards, taking the event as a possible bioenergetic threat. No direct threat was established, but quietly, containment protocols were initiated. Soon after, scientists who had openly talked about the Voyager-Atlas encounter started vanishing from web forums. Their writings and papers were erased, forums closed, and repositories cleared. One astronomer reported a threatening phone call from someone who knew personal information about his family, telling him to walk away from the stars. Within, this concerted effort was dubbed the Shadow Sweep, a program to cover up all information associated with the encounter. What's even more bizarre is that whenever there was a new public sighting report on Atlas or Voyager, Atlas's rotation would shift, within hours. It was acting as if it were reacting to human observation itself, as if it knew it was being observed. Some theorists speculated that Atlas wasn't simply monitoring electromagnetic signals, it was reading human intent. Maybe it was programmed to reflect the intelligence of its observer. 3 days ago, Atlas changed direction once more. This time it intentionally steered towards the orbital region past Neptune. At the same time, Voyager 1 aimed its antenna array in the same quadrant. Both the objects are now coordinated in motion and pulse, engaged in what scientists are referring to as the contact corridor. Coincidence or cosmic planning? 2 old visitors, one constructed by man, one forged of star matter, are now converging on a common point of destination. For years we believed Voyager 1 was alone, a solitary messenger passing through the emptiness. But what if it never was? What if it was always in a big game we didn't realize we were in? The synchronized signals, the mysterious software update, the identical pulses, all lead to one terrifying conclusion: this isn't random, and it's far from over. 3I Atlas may not be a comet, a vessel, or a signal at all. It could be something much more sophisticated, an intelligent probe, a sensor within the galaxy, or a sleeping mind ready to wake when it finds another. And now, in the form of Voyager 1, it has found us. But what if the message that came to us wasn't a hello, or a call for assistance, but a countdown? If that's the case, the question isn't what is 3I Atlas? It's what happens next, undefined because the stars have just looked back, and this time, they're not blinking.